All right, welcome everyone. We have made it to, it says week 5 according to my stuff, but it seems hard to believe. Um, Great work last week. The write-ups look really good as per the usual. The Flipgrid posts, I love. I hope. I mean, I don't know, just because it's new technology I'm using, I like really love it. But I hope it's working for y'all, and you guys are enjoying watching each other and replying to each other more than just typing wrote discussion board posts. Um, this is going to be an easy week. It's your first test instead of a write up, and I'm going to have basically no reading. So it's going to be like, consider it a mental health reset week. Take care of you, like do whatever you need to do to have a little bit of time to unwind amidst the noise and chaos. Uh, all I want from you basically are Flipgrid posts and the test done. I will make sure you look at the night it's due. It might be due. I have to decide. I might have it due Tuesday night or Monday night and make it like a 6-day limit. So be sure you check that out. Make sure you open it up and you can download it and et cetera, so that I'm not getting emails next Monday, Tuesday night being like, Mr. Doak, I can't open this, right? The other things I wanted to cover, it seemed like most people did get the difference between uh, our most basic ethical subjectivism or ethical relativism, right? That morality is really up to what you feel in the moment, right? If I feel good about lying about something and I don't feel guilty, then I'm doing what's moral, right? Psychological egoism and ethical egoism. And I just want to like go over it one more time just so that we're clear as we're going into our first test. Let's take the just and the unjust man from Glaucon, right? Never getting rid of Plato, right? Um, the just man who does what he thinks is right, regardless of circumstances, is doing what he feels is right, right? And he thinks it's in his best interest, even if he's racked and scourged. And it may or may not be, right? Psychological egoism is always playing out. He thinks he's acting in his best interest, and it might end up being in his best interest, it might end up not, right? The unjust man who appears just, who like looks good, he's a judge, he's a lawyer, he's a president, right? He, of course, is acting under psychological egoism the entire time. But the unjust man, in many of those moments, might not feel good about lying, cheating, and stealing. He might still do it, right? Because he's unjust. But he would fail ethical subjectivism, right? Or ethical relativism, which says that, like, what you feel in the moment, he's still doing it for his outcomes, right? And, like, you know, this is the difficulty in determining what's actually in your self interest in the long run, right? Like, if he gets away with it all and he never feels remorse or guilt, some kind of sociopath, then to a certain extent, it was in his self interest, right? But if he gets caught, it's obviously not in his self interest. If he starts to feel guilty and live a life of regret and remorse, right, that's not in his self interest. So I just really wanted to like, I want you to make sure that we're clear on the difference between ethical subjectivism, psychological egoism, and ethical egoism. And this leads me to the last thing that I wanted to put in this intro video is that I don't think I've included in any of the material yet. Anytime I give you a situation like the trolley car, or Dr. Brody and Mr. Laskin, or a case study, I'm asking you to do ethics. And what I mean by doing ethics is you're attempting to resolve conflicting values and obligations, right? And anytime you have to do ethics, you're trying to resolve, do I tell the truth or do I lie, right? When we're young, we're told, tell the truth, but don't be a rat, right? Don't snitch. Snitches get stitches. It's like, well, you're doing ethics right there. And whether you have to figure out which obligation or value trumps which one, right? Most of us think it's wrong to lie. But if you had to lie to save an innocent life from a murderer or something, I don't think most people would hesitate to, resolve those conflicting values in favor of saving a life over the wrong of lying. Yeah? Just like stealing and saving a life. You would steal to feed children to save their life, right? And so I just want us to like be really aware that like anytime I'm asking you to resolve a conflict, like do an ethics case, I'm asking you to resolve conflicting values. Even if you're an ethical subjectivist, right? If you say, I just do what I feel in the moment, it's like, okay, well, ethical subjectivists still encounter ethical dilemmas. You see the person walking up behind you, do you hold the door for them or do you like pretend to ignore them and keep going? Even an ethical, subjectivist has to make that choice, right? And so, like, anyone, whether you're a cultural relativist, you're always going to encounter situations. And one of the prompts that I want us to look at this week in the Flipgrid is testing out being able to articulate what are the contradictory values or obligations, and how do I assume, like, what's my argument for why I take one as precedential over the other, right? So let me know if you have any questions. You're doing great. Enjoy the easy week, and I'll see you soon, sort of.